What if some of the biggest names you grew up watching on screen were hiding a truth Hollywood tried to bury? Right now, you're probably picturing the same 5 celebrities everyone talks about, but that's exactly the problem. The real stories are far more shocking and far more inspiring than what mainstream media ever showed you. Today, we're uncovering transgender celebrities you've likely never heard about the battles they fought behind the scenes, and one name at the end of this video that might completely change how you see fame. Chaz Bono. When Sonny and Cher welcomed their daughter Chastity in 1969, they had no idea of the difficult path that lay ahead. Growing up in the public eye, Chastity often seemed confident but privately struggled with a sense of identity that never matched how the world saw her. Though raised as a girl, she never felt at home in that role. This inner conflict brought years of emotional pain. Chastity tried to fit in, but the discomfort only grew with time. Accepting that she was not meant to live as a woman was frightening, especially given fears of rejection from family and the public. For a long time, she stayed silent, keeping up an image that matched what was expected of her. By the late 2000s, she made the decision to transition and began living as Chaz Bono. It was not a simple choice, but one shaped by fear, doubt, and eventual clarity. Even today, Chaz says looking at old photos from his years as Chastity is painful, a reminder of living in a body that never felt like his own. Around age 40, Chaz underwent a mastectomy and began hormone therapy, developing a deeper voice and facial hair. These changes allowed him to finally feel at peace in himself. Since then, Chaz has become a well-known advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and has taken on acting roles including appearances in American Horror Story and The Bold and the Beautiful. Cher, meanwhile, has openly admitted the transition was hard for her to fully adjust to, yet her love and pride in her son have never wavered. Andreja Pejic. Before becoming known as the model Andreja Pejic, she worked in fashion as Andre Pejic, a male model who gained attention for confidently walking runways in women's clothing. Her striking looks and unique style made her highly sought after. Behind the glamour, though, Andrea quietly wrestled with questions about her identity. Born in Bosnia and raised in Australia, she grew up feeling different in ways she couldn't easily put into words. As a child, she was drawn to things seen as feminine, like playing with makeup alongside her mother, even as she sensed this didn't match what society expected of a boy. As a teenager, her striking appearance set her apart sometimes, leading to bullying and isolation. Fashion became a refuge, a place where being different was valued rather than punished, and her unusual gender-blurring beauty caught the eye of major designers. Yet success alone couldn't resolve what she felt inside. She had long sensed that living as a man wasn't right for her, though transitioning meant risking the career and relationship she'd built. In 2014, she decided to move forward with it. As she later told Vogue, the process was far from simple. It involved careful psychological evaluation, medical testing, and preparation. Her career not only continued, but grew, and she became one of the first openly transgender models to appear on a major men's magazine cover. Looking back, Andrea often says she'd tell her younger self that the confusion would eventually give way to strength and self-acceptance. Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner's path from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn stands as a powerful story of self-acceptance. Bruce Jenner rose to fame as a sports legend, winning Olympic gold in the decathlon at the 1976 Montreal Games. Behind that public triumph, though, Bruce carried complicated feelings about identity since childhood, including a fascination with women's clothing that brought both comfort and confusion. At a time when gender identity was rarely discussed openly, Bruce channeled much of that inner tension into athletics, finding in sports both an escape and eventually Olympic glory, though the underlying struggle never fully went away. Off the field, Bruce's personal life included 2 earlier marriages that ended in divorce. During his marriage to Linda Thompson, he attempted to open up about his identity, but felt it wasn't understood. Later in his relationship with Kris Jenner, Bruce shared more about his experience early on, though the two later differed in how they each recalled and understood those conversations. Bruce and Kris went on to raise a family that became widely known through Keeping Up with the Kardashians. When Bruce eventually decided to transition, it came as a surprise to much of the family, but support from both the Jenner and Kardashian children followed. At 65, Caitlyn introduced herself to the world in a 2015 Vanity Fair cover story, Call Me Caitlyn. The moment sparked wider conversations about transgender visibility and remains one of the most public transitions in recent memory. Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox has become one of the most recognized and respected names in the transgender community, best known for playing Sophia Bursette on Orange is the New Black, a transgender woman navigating life inside a women's prison. Long before that breakout role, though, Laverne's own path was marked by hardship, self-doubt, and a gradual journey toward full self-acceptance. Raised in Mobile, Alabama, in an environment with strict traditional gender expectations, Laverne sensed from a young age that she was different from those around her. Drawn to things generally considered feminine, she often faced bullying and social exclusion from classmates for not conforming to typical gender norms of the time and place. Dance became an early and meaningful source of joy for her. Her mother, initially uneasy about her son pursuing something seen as feminine, eventually allowed Laverne to take tap and jazz classes, though ballet remained off-limits for being considered too feminine. Laverne embraced what opportunities she was given and poured herself fully into every lesson and performance. Growing up in a conservative religious household added another layer of difficulty, often bringing feelings of shame around her identity. At one especially painful point in her life, she attempted suicide. Surviving that moment became a genuine turning point. Though full self-acceptance still took years, Laverne eventually left Alabama for New York City, where she began her transition, a process that was both emotionally difficult and ultimately freeing. Her breakthrough came with Orange is the New Black, where Sophia's storyline closely mirrored aspects of her own life, striking a powerful chord with audiences nationwide. Since then, Laverne has become one of the most prominent advocates for transgender rights in American media, often summarizing her message, simply transgender people deserve to be seen as beautiful, valid, and equal members of society. Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox's story is one of persistence and quiet courage in a sport not always quick to embrace change. As a pioneering figure in mixed martial arts, her journey has involved not just competing inside the cage, but also repeatedly defending her right to do so as an openly transgender woman in professional sports. Raised in Toledo, Ohio, Fallon sensed from an early age that she didn't fit typical expectations placed on boys growing up in her community. When she eventually told her parents she was transgender, the response was painful and difficult. Her mother struggled to accept the news, and her father, believing she was simply gay, pushed her toward conversion therapy, a practice now widely discredited by medical and psychological professionals. Despite this lack of family support during a critical period, Fallon remained committed to living authentically as her true self and moved forward with her transition, even without her parents' blessing or encouragement. In 2013, she made history as the first openly transgender fighter in professional MMA, competing in a sport built heavily around physical dominant strength and traditional notions of masculinity. Her presence in the sport sparked significant public debate, with some critics questioning whether her athletic background gave her an unfair physical advantage over female opponents she faced. Beyond the public criticism directed at her, Fallon also faced a noticeable shift in how former peers and fellow athletes viewed her. Competitors who once saw her simply as a fellow fighter began openly questioning her legitimacy once her transgender identity became public knowledge. Still, she continued competing professionally and speaking out publicly, insisting that transgender athletes deserve a rightful and respected place in sports. Her story remains a significant and often cited chapter in the broader ongoing conversation about inclusion and fairness in athletics. Jazz Jennings. Jazz Jennings has become one of the most recognizable and influential voices in discussions about growing up transgender in America, having first shared her story publicly at just 6 years old in a widely watched interview with Barbara Walters on national television. From early childhood, Jazz identified as a girl even though she was born with a male body. This showed up in small but telling ways from a very young age, borrowing her sister's clothes, dancing around the house in heels, and gently but firmly correcting her parents whenever they accidentally referred to her as a boy. She even hoped, as young children sometimes do, that something magical might happen one day to make her outward appearance finally match how she felt on the inside. Jazz was fortunate to have a family that responded with genuine acceptance rather than resistance or shame, which helped her grow up with a notably strong sense of confidence and identity from an unusually early age compared to many transgender youth. As she got older, Jazz chose to share her life publicly through the long-running TLC series I Am Jazz, which followed her experiences navigating adolescence, friendships, and family life as a transgender young woman. The show gave many American viewers their first real window into what that everyday journey can actually look like, and it helped establish Jazz as one of the most recognized young advocates in the country. She went on to build a substantial following on YouTube and was named to Time magazine's list of the 25 most influential teens of 2014. Asked once about facing judgment from others, Jazz put it simply, the only opinion that truly matters to her is her own, since she is the one who ultimately gets to define who she is. Carmen Carrera first gained public attention as a contestant on Season 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race, where her charisma-striking looks and strong performance skills made her one of the most memorable competitors of that season. After leaving the competition, she began her transition from male to female, a deeply personal shift that came with its own set of public challenges, particularly from fans who had only ever known her as a drag performer. For some, the transition complicated how they viewed her identity going forward, and Carmen faced ongoing skepticism about simply being recognized and accepted as a woman in everyday life and in her career. Still, she remained committed to living authentically, hoping her visibility and openness would help broaden public understanding of transgender experiences more broadly. One particularly notable moment came when Carmen publicly spoke out against the term she-male used on Drag Race at the time, arguing that it was hurtful and dismissive toward transgender viewers watching the show. Her comments drew mixed and sometimes harsh reactions within parts of the drag community, with some accusing her of being ungrateful toward the very show that had helped launch her career. Carmen held her position regardless, advocating instead for language that was more respectful and genuinely inclusive of transgender people. Today, Carmen works internationally as a model and continues to speak publicly on transgender rights and visibility whenever given the opportunity. Despite the earlier public tension over her comments, she has said in interviews that she holds no lasting ill will toward RuPaul and would welcome a friendly reunion if their paths crossed again in the future. Gina Rosero, a successful international model and activist, took a major and deeply personal public step in 2014 when she revealed she was transgender during a widely viewed TED Talk. Before that moment, she was known primarily for her modeling career, with very few people outside her closest circle aware that she had been assigned male at birth. Her personal journey began remarkably early at just 5 years old when she told her mother directly that she was a girl. She was fortunate to have a supportive and loving family from the start, and by age 19 she had undergone gender confirmation surgery, allowing her physical appearance to more fully align with her internal sense of identity. Still, for many years afterward, she kept that part of her life carefully private, even from close colleagues and collaborators within the competitive fashion industry. Coming out publicly was not an easy or quick decision for her. Gina worried consistently that revealing her past could seriously harm her career, damage her reputation, or change how the media chose to portray her going forward. But over time, she felt a growing personal pull to live more openly and to use her own story as a way to support others in the broader transgender community. When she finally shared her story on the TED stage, the moment was deeply emotional for her, both a personal milestone and a message directed at transgender people everywhere that they shouldn't have to hide who they truly are. To her genuine relief, she received strong and unexpected support afterward from colleagues and industry contacts who hadn't previously known her history. Since then, Gina has become a leading voice for transgender visibility and inclusion, particularly within the global fashion industry, using her platform to push consistently for greater acceptance and opportunity for other transgender models and creatives. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.